Well, I had a moment today when I learned YouTube isn't necessarily my best friend. I had done an unboxing video for Heroes of Normandy, but I don't see it on the YouTubes anymore. Like, it never existed. So I thought, well, why don't I come back and just redo Heroes of Normandy unboxing again. Now, the only drawback to that is you don't get that fresh wrap peeling experience. And I already started to punch some counters and clip them. Just a few. I think part of that was part of the other unboxing because I spent a lot of time talking about counters and whatnot. But yeah, so here goes, part two. Well, if you've never seen this before, it'd be part one for you. So anyway, here's a Normandy by Lock and Load Tactical System. This is actually the first lock and load tactical system game I've got. I think I've tried to play some of this on Vassal, and then I had the computer game, the Heroes of Stalingrad. So my familiarity with the game is very minimal. Like, I understand some concepts. So I was very excited that Lock and Load trusted me with a preview copy that I can share my thoughts on and perhaps get some gameplay out, because I'm very fascinated by the system. One, because I hear a lot of people call this kind of like a simplified advanced squad leader. So it sits in my understanding of a complexity of, say, between, like Conflict of Heroes or Old School Tactical, but below advanced squad leader. So it's like one of those, it can be kind of as complicated as you want. They have a lot of expansions, there's things you can add, plus there's a modern day system. So it's a very versatile gaming system. And I thought this would be a good time to come back and revisit the unboxing and just the game in general, is because, one, on the rules website, they have an updated rules set. It's like this has 4.1, and the rule set has like beta rules 4.2 or something like that. Then I found out from Gimpy Gamer, I'll give him a shout out. He doesn't know who I am, but I've seen his stuff. And I guess they're going to be doing like rules version 5.0 or something. It's like a rebirth of the rules. And I guess he'll be doing like some rules videos. And I thought that's great, because that really fits in line for me, the new person. I really don't know how to play. This is my I want to learn game. And so I thought this works out great for everyone. So Normandy. I wanted Normandy because I've done so much on the East Front. It's really time for me to take it to the West Front. And in here, they have like French, British, Americans, Germans, Italians? Maybe, I don't remember. But there's just so much packed into this box that it gives a person a lot of gaming value. This is even the second printing. Oh man, this is even a second printing. And I think that was one thing. Second printing probably, comes with updated rules, things like that. And I think the bigger box. I think the first printing came with a smaller box. And let's open it. Part of me, wondered, it's like there's so much space. But I think if I was going to use like GMT game trays or something like that, counter trays, some of this extra space will fill up with counter storage solutions. So that's a good plus in my book, if you will. I'm okay with extra box space. Alright, so let's look at some components. Excuse me. So here we've got the core rules. Now the core rules, I'm holding these upside down for you. So I'm looking at everything upside down. I think this is a phenomenal rule book. It's not, 3-ring binder thick like ASL, but there's definitely some meat to it. And I think the thing that I tell myself, and I would recommend to other people to keep in mind too, is that you don't use all the rules all the time. Right? You're going to pick a scenario and then learn the rules you need to play that scenario. So for example, maybe start with scenario 1, which we'll look at. You got here a few infantry, I'm gonna give you some tips that I'm gonna try myself, but you don't have to start with armor. You don't have to start with artillery and all that stuff. You know, just pick a scenario that's got a few people and learn how to move people and shoot with those people, and the rest comes. You know, because there's covered arcs. This is on arcs spines, not the arc hex spine, not the hex facing. For armor, looks like. You know, there's target acquisition rules. So a lot of this is rules that I think you don't need right away. So don't be intimidated by the book. So it's like, pick the part that's important for you and read that. And I'm telling you, it's a gorgeous looking book. This is a real quality book. I like the fact that it's color. I know, I don't want to sound like I'm gushing too much, but I've been reading through this slowly, and it's worded well. It has great examples, and I like that different parts of the rules are in color. So like you have the black text, which is pretty much the standard rules that they've had for a while, and then there's like purple text, which is like additional pieces of information. Then even online, if you get the PDF version, it has this, but then it has clarifications and things and changes marked in red. So a person can clearly and easily see the progression of the rule system. And I think that's great. So they put a lot of time into this rule book, and I'm really glad they did, because I think that's going to make my job a lot easier. I say job, but my enjoyment of the game that much more exciting to pop in here and read. Plus, looks like there's outline of play right there. Then I can find parts that I need. So this is great. Big book. But again, you just use the parts that you need at the moment, right? Well, let's look at the other book real quick, and then we'll look at some maps and things that I've got right there. So this was another thing that super impressed me about the game system. This module rules and scenarios book is huge. I think this is bigger than the rules. So the rules take me out to approximately page 65. Oh yeah, let me look at that here real quick. So let's say I go out to page, well, rules stop on page 63. German impulse. I think that might even be a sample. Yeah, that's an example of play. So I'm trying to see, where does rules for sure stop? Rules look like they for sure stop on about page 55. And then overall the book has, if you include this back, like 66 pages. So you've got rules and examples. Plus even this is very cool. I'm a graphics person. I don't make graphics. I just know when people put good graphics in. And these charts are phenomenal with symbology to help you learn system. That's why I like, say, Heroes of Normandy from Devil Pig Games and ILO. That system, that's all about symbology. So I think they have fantastic art and graphics so far. I love this book. Then this module rules and scenarios. Now see that, we were looking there, that's like 63 pages. This itself goes all the way out to page 91. And the last page, 91, is the back cover of the book. And it's part of a scenario. So it's amazing. And then you have, let's see, rules. Okay, scenario rules. Looks like they go, page 1. And there's a handful of pages. I saw some hedgerows, British forces. So there's a few rules in here to help you with the Normandy module. And then from about page, get past a couple pages of ads. Then from page 14 to page 91 is all scenarios. This is the most scenarios I've ever seen come with a starter game. Ever. I don't know what else to say. This gives you a huge value for your dollar, I think. Now, I realize that probably over the years, they've collected a bunch of scenarios from expansions and magazines and different places and probably put that in here. Plus, if you shell out a little extra money and get the scenario generator, which after this, they gifted this to me. I might shell out the money to get this mission generator, because there's like an unlimited amount of gaming in here. I think a person, if they wanted, they could probably play one scenario every day and be done in a month or so. but you could come back and replay them, and it would probably still feel like a new experience. I think it would take a very long time for someone to get through all the scenarios in here to the point where they feel like they've mastered them. Now what I'm going to do to help myself learn the game is come through, and I don't know what other people do, but I think just to help me learn, obviously, start with, like, let me see what the first mission is. If it says something like introduction, then I'm on it. Let's see here. Yeah, can you see me? What does this involve? 2 maps and a handful of people. So, you know, that might be where I start. The other thought, too, is go back to the back of the rule book, and it's got the play examples, and just try to play through an example, like lay the pieces out, kind of follow the example, and then come and do like one of these easy scenarios. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll wait a little bit until the new rule set comes out. And I guess you can purchase that. The new rule set will come with some goodies. All right, let's take a look at some components. Now, I will say this, though. This, for me, is a bit of a shocker. This is a map. This is, I'm going to tell you, is a very, very small map. I'm not used to that from virtually any war game that I've played. Conflict of Heroes. I think Conflict of Heroes has boards that are a little bit bigger than this, and they're geomorphic as well. I think all of these are geomorphic, so I snag that. So if I put 2 together, you know, then we're starting to look at something that's, you know, a bit of a map. But I'm just gonna say, like, these are physically small. Not that they have small hexes, but they're physically small map sections. That means I'm gonna have to lay out several, and that's fine. If I lay them under plexi, fine. That'll keep them from moving around, or I'll get a little blue tacky and tack them down. It's just my experience when I start using little geomorphic maps like this, they tend to move and shift around on me. But that's okay. I'm willing to do that, because on the flip side, if I'm playing a scenario that only has 2 map sections, I'm actually going to be okay with that, because I have plenty of games that give you ginormous maps, and everybody's like, man, those maps are fantastic, and then you only play on part of the map, and you end up blocking off sections of the map that you're not using. So this is like a cool thing anyway, you know, so just take the map sections I need and play. I don't have to worry about, you know, I'm using this corner and now the rest of this is covered up with charts and things like that on a board that takes up most of my table. So run with that as you will. Okay, let's look at the counters. Now, the counters, you're kind of zoomed out a little bit. It's hard for you to get in here and really look at these, okay? So I'll bring this up a little bit. But let me just say, one reason I really wanted to get into this system is because I think the artwork on the counters are fantastic. These are gorgeous, from the leaders to like the infantry. And I've heard the art's been updated. And great, I've not really played the game before, so this is all new to me. And I think it's great. The vehicles look fantastic. They're top-down views, but the artwork is really, really detailed and crisp. I've seen some games where they have top-down art, but the art all kind of blurs together a little bit. So you know it's a tank, you get the general outline of the tank, but these I've always thought look really, really good. And even the infantry, I think the infantry art is just really phenomenal. You know, you got 2 people for a squad, you got your single man counters, medic, crew, leaders. It's great. So I see what should be SS, Fallschirmjäger, then it's got some Americans, different airborne, 101st, 82nd, support weapons, turrets for open, probably closed on the back side, some mortars, aircraft, tanks, probably German Heer units, more vehicles. Definitely a lot more infantry than vehicles. This is British. Yeah, I'm not going to show you everything. And then definitely a lot of Germans. So, okay, so you got like a couple brands of Germans to fight against. So no French. No French. I was thinking the blue, but that's the Fallschirmjäger. I want to zoom in on all of these, but there's just so much to show you. I don't even know how many counters. Let me look if this says. I'm looking on the back of the box. You have 670 plus counters. I believe it. I mean, it's a lot. And they're gorgeous. Now, if you go on the internet and go to their website, to Lock and Load Publishing, you can get in there and see some of the great artwork on the counters. And I had taken some out because I think I was trying to get set up so I could start playing. There was a hero. What is this? Heroes of Normandy. Something decisive. Yeah, so I had started to pull a couple of counters out. And I think I was clipping them anyway. They come clipped and the corners are pre-rounded. But I was going to clip them anyway just because I want to make sure they're uniformly clipped to the way that I want. Now I've got here some player aid charts. Once again, I mean, it's a lot. This is where I think some people think that starts to get rules overload. There's charts for everything. So here's a player aid card, DFT, that's probably direct fire tables. I don't know what all this stuff is. There's a melee table, direct fire table. It's like there's die roll modifiers, ordnance firing table, and see some notes. Okay, terrain type. So here's your terrain card with notes for the terrain, a good picture of the terrain, and there's not too unrealistic in the amount of terrain that they have. I've seen terrain overload before, and not quite there. What is this one? It's a nice picture, but you open it up, bam, skill reference card. Oh, okay, good, because I had a decisive guy. Decisive. Leader single use. The leader can activate both himself and units stacked in his hex twice. Nice. And that's good because you can, generate heroes, and some of those heroes come generated with, a special ability like decisive. Looks like a turn tracker. All right. Some dice roll modifiers on there, a little bit of information, and casualty. All right. Easy. Even the soldier artwork on those is great. And then we have a rule reference card. Again, I love the art. British Airborne. Here's the counters and what they mean, so you don't have to keep flipping the book open. So yeah, I can see why someone is going to say this has got some rules complexity to it, but that's why these aids are handy. Sequence of play 2.0. So you had a sequence of play on the back of the book, but then here's a whole separate rules reference for that. And then it also has weapons, weapons, ammo, and targets. So it looks like all the vehicles from this box are here, so you can take a look at their stats and values. And then this looks like some of the information from inside the back of the book here. Rule reference card, again with all the iconography, and a rule reference card. So it takes a lot of these concepts, because I've read through some of this, and it takes a lot of those concepts in the book, which actually have like paragraphs to explain. And I mean that good. The paragraphs do a very good job of walking you through the rules concepts, and then I've noticed that that's how a lot of these player aids are then, is they take those rules and shrink them down into, a concept card. So they work very well hand in hand together, the rules and then the player aids. So I don't think, even if this was, I say that to me this looks a little more advanced than, say, Band of Brothers, Conflict of Heroes. Band of Brothers is starting to get up there, but I think that this is probably a little more complex than some of those games I've played. But I don't think it's an impossible game to pick up. Why haven't I yet? Well, because it turns out there's a lot of games out there. Now I've played a little bit of A Wing and a Prayer. Absolutely love that one. And then I've played some Desert Heat. That's like a platoon level type of lock and load game. And you know, I think that one's good. That to me is a more accessible game to get into. But now I want to get into specifically something that's more geared towards squad level combat. And that's what comes in the box. And I think, I can't wait to really start to dig in here and play it. Alright, so yeah, if this is something you all play, go ahead, share some thoughts on that and let me know what you think. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.